In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 NBA games happening on October 21st, 2022, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive betting picks to take your sports betting journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer anywhere from 1 betting pick a day up to 10 betting picks a day and much more. Now let's get started. Orlando Magic versus Atlanta Hawks. The Orlando Magic have a lot of young talent and are looking to pick up a win on Friday night inside of the State Farm Arena. They are 0-1 this season and are coming off of a 113-109 road loss to the Detroit Pistons on Wednesday night. The Atlanta Hawks made a splash in the offseason by trading for point guard DeJounte Murray and are looking to make a formidable big three. They are currently 1-0 after defeating the Houston Rockets at home 117-107 on Wednesday evening. The Magic are 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 road games and 4-10 against the spread in their last 14 games overall. The Hawks are 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 home games and 7-2 against the spread in their last 9 games following against the spread loss. The under is 5-0 in Magic last 5 Friday games. The under is 10-1 in Hawks last 11 overall. The Magic are 1-5-1 against the spread in the last 7 meetings. The Magic will be disappointed that they lost to the Pistons in their season opener, but there was plenty to like about their performance as their starting lineup looked pretty good as a unit. The Hawks weren't able to put the Rockets away early, but they did enough to get the win in the end, and it was a real balanced scoring effort with 4 starters scoring at least 20 points. The Orlando Magic have some nice young pieces, but they're still an inexperienced team that doesn't know how to finish games. The Atlanta Hawks looked great in their season opener, and they're only going to get better as the season plays out and they get more comfortable with their new players. The Magic should be able to put up a fight in this one, but the Magic are only 1-5-1 against the spread in the last 7 meetings overall, and I think that trend continues here with the Hawks winning comfortably. The line is a bit thick, but I can't back the Magic in this spot, so the Atlanta Hawks to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Magic averaged 104 points per game last season. They scored 109 points in their first game and averaged 104 points per game in their last 3 games against the Hawks. Even though Atlanta gave up 112 points per game last season, they gave up 107 points in their first game and will keep the Magic under 110 points in this game. The Hawks averaged 113 points per game last season and scored 117 points in their first game. They averaged 113 points per game in their last 3 games against the Magic. These teams are going to know each other well as they play 4 times this season, and all the games are before Christmas. The injuries surrounding Orlando's roster makes it a big question of if Paolo Banchero cannot score consistently, then who will do so. John Collins is a solid forward that can give Banchero trouble in his second career NBA game. I do not expect either Trae Young or DeJounte Murray to cross the 30-point markers, and their bench is not great at putting the ball in the basket as they had just 26 total bench points against Houston. The Hawks and Magic played under the total in 4 of their last 6 meetings, and the under has hit in 41 of their previous 61 games between one another. Both teams were able to do a good job of playing defense in the opening game, to the point where I cannot see the over as a viable option in this game. With Orlando giving up 112 points per game last season and 113 points in their last game, the Hawks won't score enough points to push the score past the total. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Toronto Raptors versus Brooklyn Nets. A pair of teams from the Atlantic Division tangle on the hardwood in search of a victory in one of the boroughs of the Big Apple. The Toronto Raptors are on the road as they make the trip to take on the Brooklyn Nets Friday night. Toronto held on for a 108-105 home win over Cleveland Wednesday night in their season opener, managing to barely cover the line as a 2.5-point favorite. Brooklyn found themselves on the wrong side of a 130-108 beatdown at the hands of the Pelicans at home in a game they were favored by 3 points in Wednesday night. In the all-time regular season series between the teams, the Raptors own a 60-44 advantage. Last season, the teams split 4 meetings, with Toronto taking the last 2, including a 109-108 home win in the most recent matchup on March 1, 2022. The Nets are 16-34-1 against the spread in their last 51 home games and 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 games overall. The under is 5-1 in Raptors' last 6 overall. The under is 6-1 in Nets' last 7 Friday games. The Raptors are 5-0 against the spread in the last 5 meetings in Brooklyn. Toronto is 1-0, using a strong fourth quarter to win their opener against Cleveland. It was a really good effort considering that 3 rotation players were out due to injury. The status of Chris Boucher, Otto Porter Jr. and Khem Birch are all questionable. Pascal Siakam led the team in scoring before fouling out, but it was a classic collective effort with all 5 starters scoring in double figures for the game. They are already probably playing that group more minutes than they would like, but the season is just starting. Brooklyn is just 1 game into the season, and it looks like they are already in trouble. They lost their home opener to New Orleans, giving up 130 points to the Pelicans. Ben Simmons was on the court, but he took just 3 shots for the game while posting a -26, the worst on the team. He played fewer minutes than any starter too. He was not alone in having a poor opening game, but the hopes that he was going to unlock this team appeared to be way off. Yes, it is just 1 game. Brooklyn was just plain bad, except for Kevin Durant in their opener. They are a veteran group, but their coach still has limited experience, and this whole Simmons thing has a long way to go before it gets sorted. In comes the Raptors who, though shorthanded, know exactly what they want to do, and they have multiple guys to defend Kevin Durant. The Raptors have been able to show they can come back and play well, and even though the Nets were able to accumulate talent, no player but Kevin Durant was able to put the ball in the hoop. Toronto should be able to dominate the glass throughout this game as Brooklyn has Nick Claxton as their center and he is not a big body. The Nets have the ability to score with Kyrie Irving probably able to bounce back, but this game is likely to have the Raptors as an underdog, and that is a great position for them to be in here. The Toronto Raptors have played the Brooklyn Nets well as they have covered in each of their previous 5 road games in Barclays Center. Brooklyn needs time to work this thing out, and this matchup is not a good one at this point. So the Toronto Raptors to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Toronto stayed under the total in their season opening contest with Cleveland. The Raptors and Cavaliers combined for 213 points, falling just short of the 216-point number set by the sportsbooks. 5 of the last 6 games for Toronto dating back to last season have stayed under the total. Brooklyn went over the total in their season opener, mainly due to a big offensive night by the Pelicans. The Nets and Pelicans combined for 238 points in their game, going past the 232.5-point number that was set by the books. Brooklyn has seen the under hit in 6 of their last 10 games dating back to last year. Toronto wants to push the pace on offense, and Brooklyn is likely to indulge them. Toronto did get balanced scoring in their opener, but the lack of bench production is going to hinder overall scoring output. This game should be competitive and played at a good pace. That is the way that the Nets are going to get more out of Simmons, and I have to think that is still a priority. Brooklyn gave up 130 to New Orleans in their opener. Toronto will not get there, but I expect both teams to score over 100 in this one. These teams split the last 10 meetings in regard to the total, but after seeing Toronto's clamp-down defense in crunch time against Cleveland, this one ends up staying below the total. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Boston Celtics versus Miami Heat. The Boston Celtics head to South Beach to take on the Miami Heat in a rematch of last season's Eastern Conference Final won by the Celtics. Boston opened the season with a 126-117 win over Philadelphia to give new head coach Joe Mazzulla his first win as an NBA coach. The Miami Heat started the season on a disappointing note, falling to the Bulls at home 116-108. Looking at the betting trends, the Celtics are 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 games against a team below .400 and 20-6-1 against the spread in their last 27 road games. The Heat are 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 home games and 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games against a team with a winning record. Head-to-head, the Celtics are 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 meetings in Miami. Boston opened their season with an impressive win over Philadelphia at home. The duo of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were in midseason form, scoring 35 points each against the 76ers. Best of all, they did not get overwhelmed inside against Joel Embiid without Robert Williams III in the lineup. That is a good omen for his absence, as few teams have an inside presence like that. Now they are off to Miami for their first road game of the season. I am expecting a slight slide from Miami this season, but I was not expecting them to lose their opener against a Chicago team missing a couple of starters. Speaking of starting, the Heat inserted Tyler Herro, reigning 6th man of the year, in the starting lineup in the opener, and although it was just one game, point guard Kyle Lowry was lousy. He is one of those guys who feels like he is going to fall off a cliff when it happens. I was not sure what to make about Boston after their offseason. From their opener though, it looks like business as usual, and the addition of Malcolm Brogdon raised their floor on offense. Miami did not look like a team that is going to challenge for the top of the East as they did a year ago, so I was not surprised that they are a home dog in just the second game of the season. I agree with the assessment too. The Celtics are a tough team to defend when Tatum and Brown are hitting shots like they were on Tuesday night, so the Heat could be in for another long night if they don't improve defensively. Brogdon had a decent night in his debut for the Celtics, who are still without their center, Robert Williams, and there's plenty of room for improvement for the Heat, especially Lowry, who never found his footing in Wednesday's loss. The Celtics are 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 meetings in Miami, and I believe that trend continues here. So the Boston Celtics to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Boston had their offense cooking, especially from deep, against Philadelphia in the opener, a game that easily went over. At some point, both of these teams will refine their defensive intensity, but that might not be until Williams returns for Boston and Miami finds a replacement for PJ Tucker. For now, Boston's best approach is to play with pace and exaggerate their strength on the wings against every opponent. The Heat's best mode to stay in games early this season will be through their offense. The decision to pair Herro with Lowry in the starting lineup was a concession to the offensive side of the ball. Like the Celtics, the Heat were one of the better defensive teams last year and utilized Herro as a scorer with their second unit. With Herro starting, the Heat not only get very small, but they get worse defensively. Eric Spoelstra may be the best coach in the NBA, so he will adjust, but it will take some time. In that time, the Heat will be involved in quite a number of shootouts. These teams played a rugged series in the playoffs last season and should keep the scoring high. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.